What's up, everyone, and welcome back to iPad Focus. We're kicking things off with a bang, diving straight into the highly anticipated iPhone 17 lineup. Apple's jaw-dropping event is here, and all eyes are on what they'll reveal. But it's not just about the hardware. We've got investor Peter Andersen ready to sound the alarm on Apple's artificial intelligence strategy, and he's not holding back on his thoughts about Siri and the company's innovation pace. And buckle up, because the global trade war is heating up, and it could mean higher prices for your next iPhone. We'll break down exactly how President Donald Trump's tariffs are impacting Apple CEO Tim Cook and what it means for your wallet. We've got all the details on the iPhone 17, the AI debate, and the trade war fallout. Make sure you're subscribed and have that notification bell on so you don't miss a single update. iPhone 17. The AI revolution or just a thin veneer? Apple's highly anticipated, jaw-dropping event is upon us, and the tech world is buzzing with speculation, especially around the new iPhone 17 lineup. While Apple has remained tight-lipped, the consensus is that enhanced artificial intelligence features will be the star of the show. This comes at a critical time for Apple, facing immense pressure to prove it can keep pace in the rapidly evolving generative AI race, especially after last year's Apple Intelligence features, including the long-awaited Siri overhaul, left many users underwhelmed. Market trackers like Connolly's have noted that Apple's slower AI rollout has created adoption gaps, with some consumers reportedly delaying new iPhone purchases. There are whispers of deeper AI integration, potential partnerships with Google, and the introduction of an ultra-thin Air variant of the iPhone, positioning thinness as the new premium differentiator. However, analysts like Thomas Husson of Forrester express concern that Apple's incremental innovation approach might be reaching its limits, particularly for those hungry for groundbreaking advancements. The potential for increased prices due to U.S. tariffs, estimated to cost Apple over $1 billion this quarter, adds another layer of complexity. CEO Tim Cook has disclosed significant financial hits from these tariffs, and the delicate balance Apple navigates between its U.S. and China markets is under scrutiny. Audience impact. Tech enthusiasts are eagerly dissecting every rumor, debating whether Apple's AI advancements will be truly revolutionary or merely iterative. The prospect of an ultra-thin iPhone is exciting, but concerns about battery life and production costs linger. Will this new iPhone be the AI game-changer we've been waiting for, or just another incremental update? Stick around, because next up, investor Peter Andersen unleashes his sharp critique on Apple's AI strategy. Siri's awful performance. Investor slams Apple's AI as embarrassment. As Apple prepares to unveil its iPhone 17 lineup, investor Peter Andersen is making waves with his blunt assessment of the company's artificial intelligence strategy. Andersen, founder and chief investment officer at Andersen Capital Management, directly criticized Siri's performance as awful and labeled Apple's lack of significant AI innovation quite an embarrassment. Speaking on CNBC's Power Lunch, Andersen argued that Apple is overly focused on hardware, neglecting critical software development, particularly in AI. He suggested that the upcoming iPhone 17 updates, while potentially exciting consumers with new hardware features like an ultra-thin Air, model and camera upgrades, might be a head fake that distracts from deeper, long-term challenges. Andersen warned that Apple risks losing ground to competitors like Microsoft, Google, and Meta, who have been more aggressive in integrating advanced AI tools. He pointed out that even downloading OpenAI's ChatGPT onto an iPhone highlights Apple's lag in native AI development. While some analysts, like Wedbush's Dan Ives, have called Apple's AI strategy a disaster, others, like Gene Munster, believe the bar for AI growth is low, but could rise with future Siri integrations. Despite the criticism, some firms like Jefferies have raised their price targets for Apple, citing long-term AI potential and tariff relief, though they remain unexcited about the immediate iPhone 17 prospects. Audience impact. This strong criticism from a key investor is resonating with market watchers and consumers alike, sparking debates about Apple's future in the AI era and whether hardware alone can sustain its growth. Is Apple truly falling behind in the AI race? We'll see what that means for your wallet next, as we break down how the global trade war could lead to higher iPhone prices. Trump trade war looms over iPhone 17 launch, price hikes ahead. The unveiling of Apple's next iPhone lineup is happening under the shadow of a global trade war, potentially signaling the first widespread price increase for the iconic smartphone in 5 years. President Donald Trump's administration has been pushing for US-based manufacturing, a demand that poses significant challenges for Apple, whose iPhones are primarily produced in China and India. Analysts estimate that moving production to the US could double or even triple the current average price of a $1,000 iPhone, a prospect that has put Apple CEO Tim Cook in a difficult position. Despite Cook's efforts to appease the administration, including substantial US investment pledges and even a symbolic gift to President Trump, iPhones imported into the US still face approximately 25% in duties. This has fueled speculation that Apple may pass on some of these costs to consumers, with analysts predicting price hikes of $50 to $100 on some new models, a move that would contrast with Google's recent decision to hold steady on Pixel prices. This year's iPhone 17 is expected to feature incremental updates, including camera and battery improvements, and potentially a new ultra-thin Air model. However, the perceived lack of groundbreaking AI features, a concern also raised about the iPhone 16, has tempered expectations. Forrester analyst Thomas Husson suggests Apple is approaching a tipping point, with 2026 and 2027 being pivotal years for innovation. The company's stock has faced pressure amid these AI concerns and trade war uncertainties, even as competitors like Microsoft and Google have seen their market values surge. Audience impact. Consumers are bracing for potential price increases, weighing the value of incremental upgrades against a higher cost. The geopolitical implications add a layer of complexity to consumer purchasing decisions. So, will the iPhone 17 be worth the potential price bump? We've covered the new iPhones, the AI debate, and the trade war impact. Now, let's wrap it all up in our lightning round recap. iPhone 17 launch amid trade tensions. Will prices soar? Apple is set to launch its latest iPhone lineup, the highly anticipated iPhone 17, amidst a brewing global trade war that could lead to significant price hikes for consumers. President Donald Trump's administration has been vocal about bringing manufacturing back to the US, a policy that directly impacts Apple's supply chain, predominantly based in China and India. Analysts suggest that fulfilling this demand could drastically increase production costs, potentially doubling or tripling the current average iPhone price. Despite Apple CEO Tim Cook's efforts to mitigate the impact through substantial US investments and diplomatic gestures, US tariffs on imported iPhones remain a concern, hovering around 25%. This situation has sparked widespread speculation that Apple might implement its first across-the-board price increase in 5 years to maintain its profit margins, with estimates suggesting an increase of $50 to $100 on some new models. The new iPhone 17 is expected to offer standard upgrades in camera and battery life, alongside a possible Air variant emphasizing thinness. However, concerns persist about the pace of AI innovation, with previous models failing to fully deliver on promised AI-fueled improvements, including a more advanced Siri. This has led some analysts, like Thomas Husson of Forrester Research, to question Apple's innovation trajectory, suggesting that the coming years will be crucial. The company's stock performance has been affected by these AI-related challenges and trade war uncertainties, contrasting with the strong growth seen by tech rivals. Audience impact. Buyers are anticipating potential price increases, questioning the value proposition of the new iPhone 17 in light of incremental upgrades and ongoing geopolitical trade dynamics. We've covered the iPhone 17 launch, the AI strategy concerns, and the impact of the trade war. Now, it's time for our quick recap and a final call to action. And that's a wrap on today's top stories. We saw the highly anticipated iPhone 17 lineup, faced investor Peter Andersen's tough critique of Apple's AI strategy and explored how the Trump trade war could impact your next iPhone purchase. Don't miss out on future updates. Smash that like button, subscribe to iPad Focus for all your Apple news, hit the notification bell so you never miss a video, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Plus, follow us on social media for even more tech insights. See you next time.